Hi, this is Derek Regensberger, and welcome to another episode of the Clarinet Connection, your source for gear and product reviews and practice and performance tips for the clarinet. This is part 2 of my 2025 Clarinet Fest show review. And in this episode, I'm going to tell you about new mouthpieces, barrels, ligatures that I saw at the show and kind of go over some of the current offerings. First up, let's talk about mouthpieces. There were a number of mouthpiece manufacturers at the show, including Livengood, McClune, Behn, Brian Corbin. So obviously Vandoren had a huge presence at the show as well. Had a chance to play a number of different models, so I'll give you some of my thoughts on those, and then hopefully have a chance to bring in some of those pieces for closer evaluation. First off, let's chat about Vandoren mouthpieces. Vandoren obviously has been a long time mouthpiece maker. They are positioned in the marketplace as kind of a mass-produced mouthpiece. So they make thousands of mouthpieces. They're relatively inexpensive. Their highest end models typically run in price of about $220. Many of their lower price models are somewhere in that $95 to $135 range. So they offer a good kind of intermediate level mouthpiece, and they have a number of different lines. I think the most exciting of those is the relatively new BD series and that Black Diamond series. You have mouthpieces ranging from the BD2 to the BD7, and they vary in tip opening, relatively narrow on the BD2 and a really wide, I think it's 1.33 millimeter opening on the BD7. You can also get those, some of those in the HD or high density series. And as I reviewed the BD4 a few weeks ago, it's quite heavy material, so it's a denser rubber. Gives it a little more projection in sound. So it is I think a pretty interesting mouthpiece. I had an opportunity to play a unique Vandoren, which was a titanium version of the BD4. And it was kind of a cool ice blue color, which might be an aptly named color because of the titanium metal construction of the mouthpiece, it can be quite cold to the touch. So it wouldn't be the best mouthpiece choice for, let's say, a marching band out in the cold, but certainly it's kind of a cool offering. It's a limited production run. It's quite an expensive mouthpiece. I think I was told it's around $1,000. But it did have a kind of a nice, crisp projection to it. It's a little colder, not as warm a sound as a rubber mouthpiece, but overall, really kind of a fun offering from Vandoren. Next up, I'll talk about Chedeville. Chedeville is the kind of reincarnation of the old French company that made some of the most famous mouthpieces still today. And the new Chedeville company is based in Atlanta, Georgia. They do a lot of work with CNC machining and design of mouthpieces. And they have tried to reformulate the old historical rubber formulations. The older rubber had a lot more sulfur in it. It also didn't have some of the additives that you see today, so they were much more resonant mouthpieces. So the basic lineup includes the Umbra and the Elite being the brighter of the two pieces. I think they're both very nice mouthpieces. Again, the Umbra being a little bit darker. The nice thing about their series is they come ranging from very close tip to kind of medium tip mouthpieces. You can get a 0 to a 6. And then they also are offering a couple of Jim Cantor design mouthpieces, the Cinema and the Opera. The Opera is their brand new offering. I really liked it when I tried it out. I'm going to bring that in for trial here in a couple weeks. So we'll see how that plays up here at altitude. The Opera, I think, is a little more free-blowing than the Cinema. gives it a little more presence and projection, and I think is maybe the better of the two. I'll have a chance to review it more thoroughly when I play it here in August. I also tried out some Jody Jazz mouthpieces. They're also made by the Chedeville company, and really fun mouthpieces to try. They range in tip openings from relatively moderate of about 1.2 millimeter opening, and they go all the way up to 2.2. This is the new 11 in the series. I guess it's an ode to Spinal Tap, perhaps, given it the largest projection and sound of any of the mouthpieces. But at 2.2 millimeters, that's certainly going to require a lot of jaw pressure and manipulation of the player to play something that open. I was playing on a Series 6, which I think is a relatively modest 1.3 or 1.4 tip opening, and that really gave it a lot of projection, and you really can bend notes on that mouthpiece. It's a lot of fun to play. David McClune, he's an Atlanta-based mouthpiece maker. Makes a number of different series of mouthpieces, the DM, the SP, being a couple of standard ones. He also makes a DMZ, which is kind of an ode back to those classic European style mouthpieces. I think they have a really nice sound to them, and particularly some of the closed facing models are really easy to articulate. He makes a narrow, I think, is 0.96, and so when I had a chance to try them out earlier in May, I think they have a nice sound. They are, however, asymmetrical. So when I had them measured, the different sides of the face are different, and so that lends itself to kind of read inconsistency. If you place it a little bit to the left or right of its premium position, you get kind of a squawk or a chirp to the mouthpiece. And so while they are certainly good sounding mouthpieces, they're a little bit tricky because of that asymmetrical face. Another mouthpiece maker that I had tried out last year was Rice Clarinet Works. It's very similar to the Chedeville line of mouthpieces, particularly the Elite. It's a very bright sounding mouthpiece, really big response, very immediate response, especially in the closed tip. It comes in basically just the one facing, which I think it's a very quick and immediate response. It's a very big sound. I think the Rice mouthpieces come in an opening of 1.08. So it's a nice offering. Not a lot of customization or different facing choices there, but a very nice mouthpiece, particularly if you like that brighter sound. Next up is Brad Behn. He makes, again, custom mouthpieces. He does a lot of refacing work as well. Brad really specializes in a lot of kind of that rod rubber high-end mouthpiece. He makes both the Prescott and the Epic series. The Epic series you can really customize. You can have him, there's any number of different kind of chamber designs, whether it's an S-curve or more of a straight curve. So there's 4 or 5 different choices there. There's a number of different tip openings from closed up to kind of a medium open tip opening. So it's really a very customizable mouthpiece. It is, however, quite expensive. I think they currently run about $1,200. But what Brad has tried to do is, again, recreate that Chedeville style rubber from the 20s and 30s and really emulate those old rubber formulations. They do, I think, have quite a nice sound to them. They're not as, I think, immediate or open projecting as some other mouthpieces. So you're not going to find that they produce the volume of sound, but they really have an incredible sound to them. I had a chance to demo an Epic U model, which was again, his darkest kind of sounding mouthpiece. Really a nice sound to it. And just as I found a little bit out of my budget, but I think, again, a really compelling offering from a great mouthpiece maker. A couple of mouthpiece makers that I had not had a chance to try out before I went to Clarinet Fest were Livengood and Corbin. Lee Livengood is in Salt Lake City. He designs kind of a really cool series of mouthpieces. They're all made generally with a marbled rubber on various colors. So instead of having mouthpiece model names, he'll just ask, what's the color, what's the tip opening? So you might give him something like dark red, medium closed, or purple closed, that kind of thing, as you're trying out his mouthpiece models. What I found with these is they have a very big sound to them, very immediate response, particularly in the closed or medium closed tip openings. And you're gonna, those tip openings are gonna run about 1 to 1.04, somewhere in that range, 1.06, and really a strong, response from the mouthpiece. It's really one of the best mouthpieces I've found, going up into the altissimo range. Really kind of an effortless mouthpiece. And a nice design. Unfortunately, the model I was interested in got purchased right before I could get back to it, but hopefully I'll be able to get 1 or 2 of those pieces in for a trial here shortly so that I can kind of put those through its paces. Really an exciting new mouthpiece. Lastly, I'll talk about Brian Corbin. You may have heard of Brian Corbin primarily from other accessories like barrels. Brian Corbin makes a number of different mouthpieces, again in kind of those interesting rubber colors and styles. He does offer basic black, but also a number of marbled rubber pieces, including some really cool camo designs. So you can get some really, I think, artistic statement for your clarinet, as well as a really good playing mouthpiece. I really like the sound of these mouthpieces. It has a sweeter sound. It has just a little bit of a moderate tip opening. So he has pieces ranging from 1.03 to up to 1.12. So that's a good choice for those particular players that like closed or kind of medium closed mouthpieces. One of the things that Corbin really does well is offer a good, I think, selection of tip openings and facings. All right, next up, let's talk about some barrels. There are a couple of new barrel designs out there. Most notably, Buffet has a new barrel called the Rondo. It's designed to be a more open sounding barrel. I tried that in comparison to the Chadash and Menig barrels. Again, they're kind of the reverse taper design. Really a nice barrel. Produces, I think, a very good sound. Again, a really powerful open sound to the instrument. It's perhaps not quite as easy to control as, say, the Chadash, which I think overall is still the best sounding barrel of the three. It gives you a more open feel than a Menig, but also kind of that's a high level of control. You'll have just a little more open feel to it again with the Rondo, but I really liked both that barrel and the Chadash. I bought a new Chadash barrel for my A clarinet. It's really, I think, a great design by Buffet. What seems to have really proliferated over the last few years, of course, are adjustable barrels. There's any number of makers out there, including Brad Behn, Brian Corbin, who have adjustable barrels. Of course, the idea behind the adjustable barrel is that you simply dial in whatever particular millimeter selection you're looking for to tune your instrument. So if you're playing in obviously a a colder environment, you can adjust the length of your barrel versus if you're going indoors and you need a little bit longer barrel to accommodate the different temperature changes. They're really handy. I don't think they sound quite as good as the traditional wooden barrels, but they're very, very popular because of they're just kind of universal applicability. Some other barrel makers have gone to something where they're using brass or rubber inserts to kind of help with the consistency of the barrel. They're less susceptible to temperature change. I have a barrel from a Donny that uses, again, that brass liner. A couple of other makers are using that particular technology as well. Some interesting barrels. Of course, last year I reviewed Silverstein's titanium barrel. So you're seeing alternative materials being used. There's a lot of resin compounds, rubber compounds that are out there. So any makers like Phobes, Brian Corbin are using different materials. I tried one out that MRW in Florida has. It's called ZMC. It's a wooden barrel that you can get in a number of different woods with a carbon fiber ring instead of a metal ring. I found it to be a little bit less open, less powerful. One of the more interesting new barrel choices was by RZ Clarinets, a Czech company. I thought it was a really nice sounding barrel. Again, that's distributed by MRW Woodwinds in Florida. So I think there are any number of good barrel choices out there. Again, I still think the buffet barrels are perhaps the best as far as really having a consistency of tuning, which is really going to be important for how a barrel plays and how it alters sound. I think they're just a really good combination of retaining that darkness of sound, tonal consistency, intonation. I think they really make probably some of the best barrels out there. All right, last we'll talk about ligatures. I think obviously there's any number of ligature styles out there, including the Vandoren MOs and the traditional Bonade ligatures. Some of the most exciting ones, though, are the string ligatures. A couple made by Silverstein, probably being the most commonly and widely known. Those are the Hexa series ligatures. They've come out with a new design of that. Has basically a bigger rocker that holds the ligature to the mouthpiece. And I think you get just a little bit bigger sound. So if you haven't invested in a Silverstein yet, check out the new series. That really is, I think, an interesting offering from Silverstein. And it also has reduced the number of sizes that you have to consider. The new Clarinet ligature will really accommodate most mouthpiece sizes now, so it's a little more flexible than the older styles. They also comes in a titanium metal finish, which really has quite a large projection to the sound. Another string type ligature is made by Zac Ligatures out of Italy. If you haven't seen these, they're basically two cords that wrap around the reed and attach at the back. Has a rather large screw to hold the ligature onto the mouthpiece. Really kind of an interesting design. I had an opportunity to try out a couple of these, including an E-flat ligature. I think they're high quality ligatures and worth a look. Wiener Music is the US distributor for Zac Ligatures. So if you're interested in that, contact Wiener Music. Last, I'll talk about a couple of E-flat models. I had an opportunity to try out a number of E-flat clarinet models. I tried a few from Buffet, one from Patricola, a couple from Yamaha, and one from Ubel. All, I think, really quite nice models, very easy to play. The Patricola, I think, was quite easy to get a sound out of. It has, again, consistent with their clarinet line, kind of a nice sweet sound to it. It's not the biggest sound, but in, I think, terms of E flats, that's not such a bad thing. The oboe, a really nice instrument as well, and then the couple of buffets, the RC and the RC Prestige, are really quite lovely instruments. I think definitely a better response than, say, an R13. And so I think those are, quite usable models. I like the Yamahas as well. They're kind of in the middle of the price range along with the Patricola. And then I tried out an RZ, and again, a Czech company that makes a number of, I think, innovative clarinets. And this E-flat clarinet was made out of composite material, but it had a quite nice sound to it, again, relatively free-blowing. The instrument I was most impressed with, though, was Ryan Pereira's 3D printed clarinet, again made from a material a lot like a buffet green line. So it's essentially grenadilla dust and combined with resin and then made with a 3D printer. And priced at $16.50, it's a relative bargain in the E-flat clarinet line. When you consider the cost of, Toscas and RC Prestiges are over the $10,000 mark from buffet, $16.50 sounds like a really good deal. I didn't get a chance to test it out fully with a tuner, but I will do that later in August, and really excited to do that. I think it's really an instrument that deserves a lot of attention from band directors in college and high school who may purchase one instrument for the band. It's just a much easier free-blowing instrument than many of the student models that you're often forced to play in that situation. This particularly in the high register in the altissimo range, it's almost effortless to get notes out in the high range, which is pretty shocking for an E-flat clarinet. So stay tuned for that, and again, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy what you're watching.